I had a mint in there. So
Scott, before I came down here, I was going back and listening to our conversation on Friday. Your defensive group as a whole, we were talking on Friday after the game about offensively how they're doing, but I feel like defensively they've been a strong group as well. How have you seen those 8 guys, because it really has been a group of 8 so far this season for you, how have you seen that whole group kind of grow and develop? It seems like that's a group that's getting better and better each and every night.
yeah, I mean that's what you hope, right? It's like your team, but you got some guys that played a lot of minutes last year, and those are the guys that you're going to rely on early. I think you look at a guy like Seep, coming in, getting better, learning college hockey, right? Again, people forget he's a freshman, right? But he's got a lot of experience, and I think you're starting to see his confidence grow as more and more games we play. Yeah, I think it's been a focus since the beginning of the year. I mean, just we need to be, we weren't a very sound defensive team consistently last year. We need to be more. I still think there's work to be done. Again, last year it probably looked worse because our goaltending was not where it is now, and obviously Adams had a good start too, which helps the whole confidence level of our team, let alone just the defenseman.
Sam mentioned that I think it was last week. He said that's the guy that maybe isn't getting enough credit for how good the team's doing defensively, how good they're doing offensively. He gives everyone confidence. That's especially true for your back end as well, the defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime your goalie makes timely saves, key saves, have strong games, it's going to allow you to play a little more free. I mean, you're going to make mistakes, but if you're playing afraid to make mistakes all the time because maybe they aren't at their best, it changes the way you play. And I think this year with his play has allowed our guys, it's probably helped their growth. So, but again, it's going to get harder and harder. Everybody gets better and better. And, again, keep talking about our league, and, this weekend's no different. They have a very good hockey team and some new guys that I don't know about, much of, but, they're a team that's good in transition. They're good in the offensive zone. So, again, you're going to get challenged. And I think where we need to get better, defensively is just, a little bit more consistency through our tracking, just especially D-zone exits. I think we've, it's interesting because I was just watching the DUCC weekend, and so many times you just watch when you have opportunities to get the pucks out and you don't, how much time you spend in your D-zone after that, right? It's like a penalty kill. You have an opportunity to get it clear and you don't, and you're always going, oh no, right? Because you always just feel like that next opportunity for your opponent is probably could go in the net, right? And so, and again, it's easy to say, harder to do, because teams are really good with their sticks and they close on people. But just presenting options, developing a little more trust with where pucks are going. Again, every play is going to be you're going to get the puck out, but, just having a little more, I guess, consistency there, and just making sure too, like, I think we at times want to make tape-to-tape passes all the time, and I think sometimes that gets us in trouble. I think sometimes you just got to get the puck going north or get it out over the blue line into the next zone, and and again, that could be in a lot of different ways.
How happy are you with the depth that you have on the blue line there with 8 capable defensemen?
Very. Like, I think, again, we've had some pairs early. We switched those up. I mean, obviously, we've got 8, trying to get, some guys in there, whether it's Toller or Bods, So, again, I think, I knew it was going to be a better group. but there's still a lot of work, right? There's still a lot of work with just little things, I guess. And again, that's why you play out through the year. I mean, you're never going to be where you hopefully are going to be towards the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So it's good to see them, doing some really good things. It's nice to see some of those guys, like Ty and Cleaves and Seep, adding to the offense. I think there's still more there, but yeah, again, just team defense is what it is. It's not one or two guys. Your goalie is the focal point, right? When he's good, it can make a team look really good defensively. And I think Adam's, done his job as far as when we have made mistakes. He's made a lot of those key saves.
You like how he seems more confident playing the puck?
Yeah, he's been good before. Again, there's another area, right? Like, he's not afraid to play it, but again, you need the communication. You need support from your two defensemen to get to areas, and you need your forwards getting to areas if quicker if he's got to wrap a puck or whatever. But yeah, it's still. I mean, that's probably doesn't get talked enough. Just that relationship, because I think it happens so many times in a game. When a goalie stops a puck, just that communication. Making sure. Everything's clear, and you can still make a play. It might not be the play you have to you should make, but it might be the only play that's there. It's called, right? It could be a wrap or leave it or an over, or there's just terminology that you have to use. But yeah, I think it's always nice when you have a goalie that can. I was it's a defenseman's dream if you got a goalie that can get the puck up the rink, right? Once in a while, or make that play.
You have 6 games so far in league play. You're not completely unaware of what's going on around the league and around the country. Is this league, this sport, harder than it's ever been? And you've got a few games.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. I think college hockey's better in general. I think you're seeing that across the country, and we played a really good non-conference schedule. We played some difficult teams. But to me, this is night in and night out. It's a step up. It's a step up. But that's always been the case, Bruce. It's always been the case. The intensity goes up. Teams are good. Not a lot of room on the rink. Every night is a different challenge. We got to start figuring out Saturdays. Saturdays have been a little bit of a nemesis right now. It's not like we've played poorly, but we need to step up and match the other team's intensity and determination, and that was kind of the case Saturday. I think we were just okay, and our execution wasn't as good as it needs to be. We didn't win a lot of races or battles, and again, when you do that, you put yourself in, not a great spot. and all Omaha did, they worked, right? And they took advantage of a couple opportunities, and that was the difference. And, our power play didn't, strike and to give us maybe something. It reminds me a lot of the Augustana game where we had 2 power plays. If we get 1, I think we get more. I think we get 3 or 4 goals. But I'm not blaming it on the power play, but I thought if we got 1 goal, I just felt like it was going to open up. And but they never let us do that. And they stayed on top of us. They were getting pucks from zone to zone. They were winning races. They were winning battles, and that's why they won.
You mentioned the Colorado College good in transition. They've been mostly holding a lot of pucks. They've had a lot of possession time. They've had the better of the shots in a lot of their games and all that. And they're good on draws too. But they've got a guy at the other end, and I think he's got to be his 6th or 7th year of college hockey by now. But what stands out to you about Miracle when you face him over the years?
Well, he's a lot like Lacosi, right? You've seen him, and that they can win games for him, right? But again, like any goalie, you got to find a way. We found a way on Lacosi Friday. We didn't see him Saturday, but we saw another kid who came in and played, good. I don't think we challenged him enough, but you gotta get pucks. You got to get traffic. It's the same old, same thing. It's the old cliches, right? But against good goalies, you've got to find ways to score some ugly goals, because they're not going to give up a lot of, the long shot goals that get through them. They're just not. You got to get you got to create some chaos around there and get pucks there, and that's probably an area that we need to do more of. It doesn't matter who's playing.
You signed 6 this week for his future Bulldogs. Obviously, that process is different now than it was before. But what is the feeling when those papers come back? I guess signatures on, you get these guys signed. Is it still pretty gratifying?
Oh, 100%. All kids that really want to play here. Excited about the group. We'll see if there's more. But yeah, I mean, you look at how they're all doing. They're doing really well, and again, that's a good thing. And again, we're still searching, and again, it's year to year. We don't know what's going to happen, so we're continually looking and recruiting, but it's a good group. Carl's obviously a good goalie. He's having a good year, and Victor and JJ and Keith McInnes, older, played with Bibbs last year when they won. So a lot of good things.
How do you approach goaltending now when you're recruiting? That seems like a more difficult position to plan for than it used to be. It's not just pro signings; it's transfer portal. How do you approach that when you're looking to bring?
Let Brant look at the goalies. Dead serious. That's what he's great at. So.
But bringing a kid in, that's Brant.
What do you mean, bringing them in when they're coming in?
When they bring them in, it's you've mentioned before roster building used to be something you could plan for 3-4 years out, and now it's a year-to-year thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need goaltenders, and we're lucky that we've got not just Carl, but the other two as well, and that we're extremely comfortable with, the guys that really want to play here, and that's exciting for us. And again, you don't know. We lost 2 goalies last year.
Right, that's the challenge.
But yeah, and you're still trying to plan. It's not like we're going to just go get guys and whatever happens. I mean, there's still a plan for those guys. Some of it could be earlier, some of it could be staying on the plan. So, and if that changes, that's going to change down the road. It's not going to change right now.
These 6 guys that you signed, the plan is for all of them to come in. Any chance any of them?
Maybe there might be. Yeah, there could be.
Is that easier to do now in the switch from the NLI, or same as it was?
As long as you communicate, again, just be honest with kids, right?
Yep.
And again, you can sit here. We're not going to sit here and say that now because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's going to happen. There might be one that may, but again, I'm not going to sit here and say that's going to happen because at the end of the year we could be in that position, and then you've got to bring them in.
When we were talking about the moon last week, Sam was kind enough to remind us all that he was 6 years old. They played the last game back, and Max was 4, which would have made Victor 2. They've been around this place ever since, basically since that point, maybe before that.
Yep.
How's it feel now that you've got 2 of them here now, and you got the other one signed to come here soon?
Well, it's awesome. And again, we never take that for granted when you recruit, just because their brothers were here or their dad played here or mom was, a great athlete here. Any of our alums, we don't take that for granted, right? And you recruit them just as hard as you do other top kids, and make sure that they know that we really want them. We want to make sure they really want to come here. Obviously, with those 3, I think it's pretty cool if they're all here together next year. I think it'd be awesome if I'm a parent to be able to maybe see my 3 boys play on the same team, maybe, let alone maybe play together. I did maybe slipped that in there when I was recruiting them, that they might get a chance to play together. But again, we'll see, right? All I know is that no matter what, I'm hoping to, to at least give them that opportunity, right? But yeah, I think it's, and Victor hasn't really played with those guys, at least Dan and Max have played some high school together and obviously here, but so I think they're excited about that too.
Just want to know what your thoughts on Justin Paul reaching 1,000 for NHL games.
Yeah, I just
First player.
pretty awesome. Yeah, I just texted him this morning actually, but yeah, I still remember him being here in the recruiting process to get him, and I think we started with giving him this much money, but we had to turn around and give him more, otherwise he wasn't coming. So it was a good decision to give him more. But just, even his year here, I mean, kind of felt at Christmas he wasn't going to be here longer than 1 or 2 years. But yeah, he was really, I mean, strong, tremendous freshman year. And I just think if you watch his career, I think his last few years, 3-4 years here, have been some of his best years, and I think that's just that experience. But the thing I love about Fulker is he played here 1 year, and you would have thought he played here 4 years. He's always been a tremendous supporter. He's given back to the program. This was the first year he missed the golf thing. He had a wedding, but he comes back every year, always in communication, like he's a true alum, right? And that's pretty cool that he only was here for a year. Obviously, winning a championship, with that group was pretty special. But awesome guy, happy for him. Got a great family. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games. So I know there's more. So hopefully he can keep going for a while.
There's only been 2 of this program that have done that. Pretty good company overall.
Tough level. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a couple more down the road, right, Bruce? If you guys got to play a few more.
2 seconds. So we were talking about you after Friday's game. I was talking about you with Scott, and he had made the mention. And Joey and I talked about this early in the season. You watched all your classmates, almost all your classmates except Joey.
Yeah.
He hit the transfer portal in the spring, and we were saying if there's a guy that maybe could have done it, you're in that 7th defenseman role, not always getting a regular shift and stuff. Like those are the guys we often see in the transfer portal. Go for more playing time somewhere else. I don't think anyone would have blamed you if you could have done it. Riley, what kept you here? And I'm wondering how much you're liking that decision now, because not only is this team having success, you are getting larger and larger roles each and every day because you're playing.
You know, obviously I really like the team here. I like the guys in the dressing room. I think the coaches are great. To me, there wasn't really ever thought of leaving, you know, and obviously it's great that my role is increasing here, and yeah, I just look to keep doing that and keep working hard, and yeah.
Bruce and I have talked about this. We talked about it with Scott. When we remember those teams that were winning championships. Some of the most important players on those teams were 4th line guys, maybe 5th or 6th defensemen, who weren't getting a lot of playing time when they started. But they stuck with it over 4, sometimes 5 years, and became vital role players, really important guys on those championship teams. Remember up Blake Young, we had him up at the podium after they won the national championship. He said some really weird, awkward things, but because Blake was kind of weird and awkward. But like, they became really important guys. I'm wondering how you've seen it seems like you're on that trajectory. You're developing into one of those really important guys. Guys talk about how great you are on the PK and such. How have you seen your role develop, and how important has kind of, you know, your development been? How have you seen yourself grow as a player here to become an important part of this team?
You know, that's something I always value, is kind of being that hardworking guy, and I'll do anything to help the team win in any moment, whether it's blocking a shot or just playing tough in the D zone. So I think that's things that kind of we worked on over my 4 years here, and just that will to win, and I think that's something I try and bring every night, and I think it's just developing those little skills over the 4 years to kind of get me strong in those positions that has helped me get kind of to this point. I think so.
This defensive group, I think this is the year where we can say it's a group of 7 out there. Heck, even 8 with Jake Tolman in there for a couple games. What's allowed this group to kind of grow and mature each week? What have you seen out of the guys?
I think it's just we have a lot of chemistry with each other. You've seen it out there. Everyone kind of plays with everyone, and I don't think we have any guy that's an outlier out there. I think all of us are really strong, and we can all play together, so I think that's a huge positive for us. And then obviously we got a couple guys who are really strong offensively as well, which also helps. So I think, but mostly it's just the chemistry in the group, I think, is the biggest thing for us. We're all very tight, which is really good.
Joey mentioned this weekend that you don't just block shots in games, you're willing to block shots in practice. And he admitted he might step aside in a practice on when a guy tees it up.
Yeah.
You don't. Where does that motivation come to take a shot no matter what?
I feel like it's a mentality for me, at least. You know, you got to set that mentality in practice. If you don't set it in practice, you're not going to do it in a game, or maybe you'll be a little more hesitant in a game. So I don't care if it's a practice or a game. I'll get down and block it. It's not that much of a big deal to me. So.
Worst shot you've taken in practice? Hardest shot?
Actually, last week I got one that hit me right in the ribs, but didn't hit the shoulder pads.
Ooh.
So that was a tough one. It like winded me. I couldn't breathe for a second.
Who was that one from?
That was from Betchin, Blake Betchin.
From Betchin.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Has Suze or the coaches ever gone up to you and said, hey, let's tone it down a little bit, maybe don't take that?
Maybe once or twice, but not really. No, I think they see I enjoy doing it. So.
Who's got the hardest shot?
Hardest shot.
Is there anyone on the team where you maybe think twice about laying out in front of that their shot?
I don't think so. Like, I think Zam, if he's loading up a one-timer, his is pretty hard. When you first said that, I thought Ben Steves.
Yeah.
Because when he would tee him up, like if it hit you, it wouldn't feel pretty good. So, but yeah, I think Zam would probably be the biggest one for me this year.
Yeah. The PK. I always thought he was. I always liked seeing him in the lineup because I went, there's a guy that can go out there on every PK and get it done. Where does that drive? How were you able to kind of develop that knack on the PK?
I think it's just kind of my defensive mindset. I feel like I really strive there, and my willingness to kind of battle and compete. Like I said, I'll do anything I can to help the team win, and I think that's an area with my length and my will that I'm really strong.
Close to you are. You think you are getting that goal? You've got a couple good chances.
Yeah, I've had a few. I mean, hopefully it will come. I'm not too worried about it, but I'm sure it will.
I was gonna say that's jumped out a couple times. I went, oh, that's 20 on the breakaway.
Yeah, no, I had a pretty good chance this past weekend, so yeah, it'll come.
I'm talking to the boss later, but Kelly will tell me that I have something, so I'll point this one out. Along those lines, this whole group of D, you guys have been jumping up, getting more involved offensively. What's this process been like of kind of getting that being more part of your game?
Yeah, I think that's one thing we've talked about is getting more movement kind of in the offensive zone as a five-man unit. And when everyone's moving around and the puck's moving around, it kind of just opens them up defensively, the opposing team. So I think that's just one thing we've kind of talked about, and even the fourth man jumping in on the rush, stuff like that, just kind of getting our D moving in the offensive zone and joining in on the rush is just a big part of it.
They had a bunch of guys signed this week, including Sam and Max's little brother. You kind of mad you won't be here to see that circus act starting next year?
Yeah, no, that will be interesting having all three of them there for sure. I mean, two's plenty, so we'll see what three's like.
When you say having two is interesting versus three, are we talking about watching them on the ice or off the ice?
You could look at it both ways. I mean, they're obviously both very energetic guys. I would assume that Victor's the same. So on the ice, obviously, the plays they make, it's spectacular. But off the ice, too, they're very entertaining guys. So adding the third one in the mix probably would just boost that even a little more.
I saw there was a video posted of who should be the nominee for the November mustache. Do you think Max will ever be able to grow a mustache with that baby face?
I don't know. He needs a couple of years, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think we have a pretty clear runaway with Bensi on that one.
Colorado College this weekend, what kind of maybe challenges does their offense present to your defensive unit there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a very good team. They always have been all 4 years that I've been here. So it's going to be a tough game for sure. They always have some strong guys offensively, and their power play is always really good. So I think if we just stick to our game, play aggressive defensively, we'll be able to handle them.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.